Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to the Nick and Vic podcast. Real life, real talk. Hey. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for tuning in. We on the hookah tonight. We on a different type of time tonight. Hey, hey, hey. Disclaimer, we do not own the rights to any of the music you hear playing during this podcast. We just on that type of time. Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hey, y'all.
It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since we've been live. I mean, we were on the book. Mm-hmm. And we in Facebook jail right now.
They done sent us to jail. Just like that, we didn't even do anything. We didn't even do nothing. I mean, literally, 2 episodes, they locked us down. Clank, clank.
They did.
So, as my mama would say. But no, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Like I said, as always, we just have a couple of disclaimers. We do not own the rights to any of this music that you hear during the podcast.
Yes.
And same as always, like positive vibes only. We just in here, talking and just, dialoguing about, real life and things in the community.
Real life, real talk. Absolutely.
So, like I said, positive vibes only. So, with that said, don't come in here with no bullshit. You won't leave with no bullshit. Because, we ain't those people. He's still working on us.
Absolutely.
And then last but not least, we grown. You may not want your kids in here. in here. To hear some of this conversation.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we're here. We're, ready to have a good time.
Grown folks topics.
Absolutely.
Our
topic tonight, came from inspiration from a movie that came out a few years ago. With 2 of my faves starring Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, a movie called Fences, and it just kind of got us to thinking, during one of the main things in the movie was Denzel was married to Viola Davis, and he actually ended up having an extramarital affair. That's the proper way of saying he had a side piece. See episode 1. And she got pregnant, y'all.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this movie, it's Denzel and Viola, so it's top notch. But the side piece got pregnant. The lady got pregnant, and she died during childbirth.
That's sad.
Viola didn't know that he was keeping time with this woman.
Yeah. That's sad.
And this Negro, hey, look, I ain't gonna say the other word because that might get us. This might get censored for that. This Negro came to the house like, we got the baby. What we gonna do? Showed up at the house with the baby.
Hey, it's crazy, but situations like that happen.
Handed her the baby.
It's situations like that happen though. So I mean, what happens when? What would you do if you had an experience like that?
Would you raise another woman's baby?
Yeah.
Or if you as the woman stepped out on your husband, got pregnant, men, would you stay with your wife? and raise this baby. You know, would that's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean,
You
it's a
know,
lot, but you know what? I believe that typically when situations like that occur, whether it happens the way that, you know, you describe what happened in the movie, you know, if it happens like that, I mean, if I was in a situation like that, I don't know. Especially if I'm single and I don't have children, but being that I do and my
mm-hmm,
children are grown, they're older.
mm-hmm.
I don't think I would mind because sometimes I get baby fever. You know, I'd be like, oh, you know, my friend, significant other, you know, we always see small children and they
Right,
kind of gravitate towards me. So
right.
I don't think that I would have a problem uh raising somebody else's child in a situation like that if that person was deceased. I don't think I would have
But
a
he
problem
was
stepping
cheating
in.
with this woman.
Well,
She was the
people cheat.
mistress.
People side piece. People have
Right?
side piece. I mean, in a situation, it's not the child's fault.
That's a
It's
fact.
not the child's fault. So what you gonna do? Just throw away the whole situation, the relationship, and everything? It's
Right.
something that definitely needs to be talked about.
Listen, Viola said this child has a mother, but you no longer have a wife.
Okay, but still,
And she raised that baby because it was a little girl because they had a little boy out. They had a son already, and he actually was older. How you explain that to the other children? This your sister. This your brother. How you do that?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I don't see because I'm looking at what's in the best interest for the child.
Right. Right. It is, and it's true. It's not the child's fault.
I mean, I would have to deal with this person that was out doing his thing and having his time, having fun. And let's just get away from the movie scene and just talk about the real
Real
reality, the
life, real
facts.
reality
Because
of
there
it.
is situations that that happens where your significant other or the female go out and cheating and she get pregnant and it's not his
Right.
son or daughter. You know, so let's talk about the reality of things and let the movie be the movie. Because we don't own rights to anything
Right.
pertaining
And you
to
know what? The
what's already been
reality of it
shown.
is that, you know, there's infidelity within relationships all the
All the
time.
time,
And
yeah,
we
yeah,
forgive.
yeah.
And I think most people though, they they can forgive. They're more forgiving if there's not a child involved. You know, but I think it's, you know, if there's not a child involved, that was a whole different type of situation where the mother died and the baby just didn't have a mom.
Okay,
You
but
know, so
I'm
you're
just
taking
saying.
responsibility for your child.
But okay, so let's get away from the movie
No,
and deal
right. So in
with
real
reality.
life,
Still, it's
if
not the
your
child's
husband
fault.
showed up, you in there frying chicken. You in there frying chicken. Your cornbread about to burn
Girl,
because he done came
stop.
in here and handed you a baby. Handed you like, this my baby. We need to raise it.
Well, I mean, too, me, I got a heart for kids, for children. I do. I love children, and I've had baby fever for so long, and my children are men now.
Right,
You know,
right.
so like I was stating, it would be something that we would have to talk about, but it's not the baby's fault.
Look,
What you
what's
gonna
to
do?
talk
Just
about? What's to talk about?
we gonna have to raise it if we're married. Oh, so we gonna get a divorce? We gonna get a divorce because you then had a child. What
Right,
about our livelihood? What about everything that we built? This is something that needs to actually be dealt with between me and that person.
right.
The baby has nothing to do with it.
Well, I feel like the child has nothing to do with it. I might keep the child and send your ass on your way. Look, we go get these documents together because, like you said, and you know, it's hard not to have a heart for children.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it
yeah.
is not the baby's fault.
Right,
It's not the baby's fault.
right.
You know, and you have a heart, especially, you know, I don't know. I think I need some men's opinion on this because I can only speak my part as a mother.
Okay.
And I'm so motherly. And like you said, and I have a heart for children. I think most women are that way. You know, most women are that way. But then you have some women who, even if you're talking about a blended family, they're jealous of the children. Are you going to love this child more than you love me? Or are you going to treat this child differently than you treat mine? You know, all
But
of those things.
that's a crazy way to think when it comes to children, because children are so vulnerable and their minds aren't fully developed to know right from wrong. If you're talking about, if you go into a situation and this person has already have children, then that's a totally different story. Because yeah, I could see that then if a child, depends on the age, and I'm just going to throw it out there, I'll just throw age out there, about 15, 16 years old. You know, hell, the majority of the children now that are that age, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about boyfriend, girlfriend stuff, other activities, school, being, going to the movies, stuff like that.
Maybe I'm gonna tell you right
Some
now,
of
my
them.
daughter would be like, "Daddy, where does because at 15 you understand the mechanics and how the baby got here. It's not like having a 6-year-old who may not understand. You know what I'm saying? So at that age group, you understand. You know, you can tell a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, this is your new baby brother, this is your new baby sister.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're not going to question it.
Right.
But, you know, at I would even say maybe even 11, 12, preteen, teen right then, they might be thinking, well, to make a baby, don't you? And mama wasn't pregnant. Or, you know, I think it would be more easily hidden though if the woman, you know, stepped out and the man decided, oh, okay, I'm going to go ahead and raise this child anyway. You know, that's something that you don't really hear about. You don't hear that subject where the woman stepped out and she got pregnant and the man said, okay, we're going to raise this baby, but you better not be dealing with him anymore. Or, you know, if he didn't want to be involved, okay, we're going to stay married. You're my wife. You know, he accepted whatever her reason was.
But I'm talking about reality.
I'm talking
A lot
about
of people
reality.
not gonna go for that just because that's just how it was played out. Some people's lives are played out like that. Some people like,
oh my God, your heart would have to be. I think a lot of women would say, hey, you know, at least for a while, this baby has a mother, but you no longer have a wife. In the sense of, you know, intimacy, I would say, I'm still gonna cook, I'm still gonna clean, but you're not going to be my first consideration. This child is going to be my first consideration because you brought it to me. Yeah,
I could see that. Yeah,
right.
But still, it's kind of hard to really put yourself in a situation like that when you have not yet experienced anything like that. I mean, naturally, as a mother, you're going to gravitate towards a child.
Right.
You're going to want to make
You
sure
would
that that
think.
child has everything that that child needs. Some of us.
Right. Right.
Now, on the other hand, there are women out there, there are men out there like, I'm done. Screw you.
Right.
Screw you and that child.
Deuces.
You know, but it's, to me, I have a heart and I don't know. That's difficult. That's, I mean, just to hear about it, even try to wrap your mind around it, to put yourself in that place, it's difficult to really visualize that or say that, oh, it's okay. I mean, for one, it's not. And then for two, me, I would just be thinking in the best interest of that child. But when it comes to dealing with someone that already has a ready-made family,
Right.
that's different.
Right.
You know what I mean? That person is a package deal.
Right.
If the woman comes in and she has children, small children, that's a package deal. You know, I read a post today and it said that just because I date you don't mean that I'm willing to be a stepfather. You know, those are still your children. I mean, that to me, I was like, that's kind of harsh. But at the same time, if that's that person's opinion, that's that person's opinion.
Right.
And to be able to deal with somebody like that have those type of characteristics,
You don't need to be
who
with
are you?
them.
Right.
You don't need to be in. That's not the right relationship with you.
Yeah, that's the
That's
challenge. They
that's
only in it for one thing.
right. So
You
you
know?
keep them on a
Yeah.
pull up.
Yeah. So
You keep them
I
on a pull
mean, you
up.
have to nowadays. You just really have to take into consideration of who you're dealing with. You know,
Right.
when people come
Absolutely.
into a situation with
Absolutely.
children, when they come in and they got baby mothers or baby fathers that are still lingering, that don't know how to let go and don't want to let go, because a lot of times when you mentioned earlier, jealousy does take a part in it, but it don't have nothing to do with the child, because the child only knows what mom and dad was
Right.
doing previously.
Right.
So now mom or dad got this new person that's involved,
Right.
and then you still got baby mama on the end or baby daddy, and well, don't let your mama do this or don't let your dad do this or come back and tell me. That's causing conflict.
Right.
So it's always good to really, before you get in a situation that has already made family,
You got to talk
about it and figure out what the terms, what are the goals,
expectations,
where are we going?
What are the expectations?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some people, I mean, I know to this day, people are still dating and still got, a child, baby mama, baby daddy, still lingering, still don't know how to let go, still got one foot in, but it's difficult because people don't take into consideration now, when you date, you should date with a purpose. And then if you're not dating with the purpose, that needs to be,
and you definitely need to be considering if they have children. And not only that, if you have children, I would say this, and I talked about how in the first episode, we both been married, and I came into the relationship with, a child.
Mhm.
And so it was not easy for me.
Mhm.
He was at a really vulnerable, he was really young. I want to say 13 months old.
Mhm.
13 months old. And so when I started dating this person, because I know in general, I date with a purpose. I'm just that person. I just am. And so he didn't see my son for 6 months. He thought I was lying, y'all, that I had a child, because all he saw were pictures of him. He never saw him. And of course, if he came to the house, it's clean. Ain't no toys in the floor and no blocks and Legos and, all of that. He thought that I was lying. Like, this could be your nephew. This could be your baby cousin, your godson. Because I just did not allow that, because children, at a particular age, they're wanting someone to call mom, wanting somebody to call dad. So you have to be super conscious about what you're doing with the people that you're doing it with.
Right.
In my opinion, it's June, hot girl summer. Ladies, y'all got to be conscious about, what y'all doing out here, and who you doing it with, as far as, being cautious, being careful. So that, I think, so that you don't have that situation, and let's face it, everybody not single, they have that moment that they have for whatever reason, and you end up pregnant, and you got to go explain to your husband or your significant other.
What happens when you dating somebody? What happens when you dating somebody and y'all been dating for a year, 6 months, year to 6 months to 2 years, going on 2 years, and that person is out cheating and they end up getting somebody else pregnant? So would you still, I mean, how do you see yourself if you were that person, or such a situation like that happened? How would you deal with something like that? Because that's almost the same thing, but yet different. Would you still want to be involved with that person, although the loyalty has been there, and then say the person decides, oh, I'm gonna have a one night stand. People have one night stands all the time, and they get pregnant on the one night, the condom break, and then it's a one night stand, and then the baby, say you're engaged, y'all happy in relationship, and this person, bam, It happens all the time.
It does happen all the time. I think, though,
I mean, for some
personally,
people,
I
some people
think,
can contain themselves.
listen, I think that, people might not think so, but I think there's a little more leniency if it's your husband,
Yeah.
if it's your wife, when it comes to forgiveness. If you don't have any real ties, we don't have no kids, we don't own any property together, we're not married, it's one of those things that, okay, so you come in and you tell me that, hey, I did this and she pregnant and we not married and we don't have like any legal ties. Even if we had legal ties,
You say you got to go. You quick to
look,
dismiss, throw up the
smash
deuces.
on your black ass. I'm
Stop
gone.
it.
Look,
You terrible.
we ain't got nothing to talk about. You done said what you said. The reality
Oh,
is what it is. But
shit.
at the same time, I've seen situations where that happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The woman didn't leave right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know
But
what she waited
did.
on?
Yeah.
Dana.
That test.
Dana. That's the woman she was wanting to know about. Dana, DNA, Dana.
Yes.
She was like, bitches be lying.
Mm-hmm. They do.
So, and they do.
They do.
You
They
know what
be
I'm
so
saying?
jealous and envious of the new chick.
Yes. And the fact that
I
you
can
don't
do it.
have an
Yeah.
emotional connection to
Yeah.
them, it just was what it was
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And they know that you're with someone else, and then they like, well, I'm pregnant, and they expect you to leave that person and do like,
Right.
this the bank.
Right.
This the main. This is the bank. This is who I can bank on. This is where I'm at. This is home base.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, we see it. Look, we watch a certain daytime TV court show, where you see where the wives or the girlfriends, significant others, they stay until they see what, the bailiff, when he hand that paper to the judge, and she be like 99.9 or, 100%, no, it's not yours. And then we work from there.
Right.
And then we work from there.
Right.
But if you're certain and you claiming and you've been in relationship with this other person and we don't have any binding ties, you know what? Kick rocks.
It's time to go. I mean,
Kick.
that's more logic than anything.
Yeah.
Especially when it's just you're dating or it's just a relationship. I mean, because those situations do occur, and then too, women that get pregnant. It's not just solely based upon on the men, but you got some women out here that are like I said, doing their thing. Doing their thing, and end up getting pregnant and then having a baby on that guy, and he waiting on the results and it's not his.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean it's crazy. It's a very touchy subject.
Or she don't say nothing. He don't know that she cheated.
But that baby don't look like he ain't get ready to stay no way because he gonna already
what if the baby look like her?
I don't know.
Because what if
know? Because things like that do happen.
Y'all 20.
My oldest son.
Yes, y'all are 20. And it's a lot of it. Me and my son, my oldest son, 20. The older he gets, the more he
looks like
like his dad. You know what I'm saying? But so she don't say nothing, and then here come the family, or her and the friend fall out, and that ain't your baby anyway.
I know.
Do you stay? Do y'all work through that?
But let me clear up some shit in case my ex. Because that one right there, he can't deny that one. He already know what's happening. Straight up. I mean, he looked just like his dad at birth, but he grew up to look weak.
But that's, you know what they say, that's in the eye of the beholder. That's in the eye of the beholder, that, the looks. That's in the eye of the beholder of the looks. Because I say it all the time that my oldest looks exactly like, my ex. So, but he always looks like he looked like you. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
don't look like me. He look like you. Although he has those characteristics, but that's what you hear it all the time. He got your ear. He got your pinky
Not the
toe.
ears.
He got your pinky toe. So she don't say anything, and you raise this child, and the child gets to be, let's say, 7.
Yeah, it
And
happens.
then, so what do you do? What do you do? I mean, I need y'all like typing down in the comments. I really want to know. I'm so mad we in Facebook jail and we having to do this, pre-recorded, because I know some people on, some of our viewers for sure will
Yeah.
have a huge, huge
Right.
opinion
Right.
about this.
Absolutely.
And so what do you do? It's so much harder on the reverse side with the woman. She's
Yeah.
pregnant. All you
Yeah.
know is that she like, baby, we're having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, where it's just blatant,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just blatant, and again, you have to, a man has to come and break it to a woman, you know, I had this baby, or there's a baby on the way, or
Some of them, you know what? Some of them though, because I have now. I know a situation that a man
situation number 9
will lie,
blowing my mind.
will lie to the death of his soul to hold on to that woman that he know is the one,
The bank,
the bank,
the bank.
and be no, I ain't cheating, I ain't did nothing, I ain't got no kid on the way, da 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 da. Until you get that knock on the door. What Mary said.
Listen, Mary said it best.
You can't compete with a baby.
How do you?
There's no comparison.
Wait a minute. What about this? So he comes to you. Say y'all are together. Y'all not necessarily married. Maybe y'all are. Say he comes to you. She's pregnant. She done had this baby. You know nothing about it. They done had the DNA testing, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he say, I'm not going to walk away from my child. And I feel an obligation to be in the same household.
Bye.
To be in the same household.
Bye.
And,
Bye.
raise my child. I should be there.
Because you know what?
Every morning.
I will release him. I will release him because the thing about it is what goes around comes around. And if you made that child on me and knowing that I was sincere, knowing that I had my heart in it, karma go. I believe in karma. I'm telling you. That's why I treat people how I want to be treated.
Right.
If something like that would ever happen to me, I would release him. I would definitely release him. It would hurt, but I would release that person.
That's a lot.
Because you can't compete with a baby, and a child needs their parents. Even if some parents raise their children on their own. If he is willing to be in the life of that child,
right.
Bye.
Right.
See you later.
Right.
See you whenever.
Right.
See you around. Ain't no later.
Right. Right.
See you around because I'm not gonna sit around and wait on you. If that decision needs to be made, and if that person that I was with or ever entertained or had that situation become abrupt, I will release him. Because the thing about it is, if you had nerve enough to go and get what you was getting, and it was that damn good, and you released in her, then you deserve
shooting
to
the
be
club
with her.
up. Look, shooting the club
To
up.
be with her.
Shooting the club
You
up. You not thinking about me anyway.
You deserve to go and raise that child.
Look,
You
I'm trying not to
deserve
get censored, y'all. And
to go and be with that person,
Right.
and y'all deserve to go and be a happy family.
Right.
You have to release that person, because if not, how can you fight for something like that when he decides that's what he wants to do?
I feel like you can't win.
He's not even looking or considering you as an individual that he actually loved.
Right.
If that's the decision that he wants to make.
Right.
You can't hold on to no stuff like that.
Right. That part. And the thing about it too is, again, you cannot compete with that. How do you compete
Can't
with
compete
that?
with a baby.
And if you're the person that is thinking um, in terms of the best interest of the child, but is that really the best interest of the child?
Of course it is.
You know, because let me
Of
tell you,
course it is.
is it not the same situation of, you know, people being together just because somebody got pregnant? Just
Well,
because somebody got
typically-
pregnant, y'all don't even like each other. Now the
Typically-
child growing up in toxicity.
A good guy
Yeah,
is going to want to do the right thing
Yeah.
by his child.
yeah,
Now, a guy that don't give a fuck because it was a oops, I'm sorry accident, shit, he's not going to be there anyway. He's going to, 9 times out of 10, he know he done messed up. And I'm not trying to speak for every man. I'm just simply saying what I think would be the logic thing to do. Because he know he done messed up. He's in between a rock and a hard place, knowing that I got to
that
face
hard
this
place
dance.
what got him in trouble.
I got to go tell the bank that I done messed up, and then I got a child that needs me,
Right.
because I want to do the right thing.
I want to do the right thing.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that got to be hard for that person to make the decision as
Right.
well.
Right.
But if he truly and honestly loved the bank,
Right.
then he's gonna be straightforward
Right.
and sit that person down, I would think, and talk
Right.
to her,
Right.
or, you know, and make the decision like, hey, you know, I really fucked up.
Right.
You know, we need to either fix it, we need to work through it, or I have to go because my child needs me.
Right.
And I think that would, to me, logically thinking, I think that would
I
be the
wouldn't
conversation.
like it, but I would respect it.
You have to
in
receive
that
it.
sense.
Yeah, you have to receive
And
it.
that I have no respect for you as far as a person and, you know, what you would consider, you know, loyalty and faithfulness. But at the same time, you're talking about a child that didn't ask to be here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the loyalty and faithfulness then does not matter between you and or even the mother.
Mm-hmm.
The loyalty and faithfulness is then, you know, in the interest of the child.
Right.
You know, so I'm just like, man, but that's just crazy.
But too, I think that, just generally speaking, because I can't speak for a man because I don't know how a person would feel or what their actions will be. But I would think that, hell, 9 times out of 10, he gonna end up with her little dusty ass anyway, because I mean, it was
Right.
a oops, I'm sorry type of thing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Unless they take that situation and make it into something.
Or she ain't gonna end up with his little dusty ass because
Right.
she didn't know.
Right.
And he got to come back and tell her, well, I got this other person. I have my wife, or either I have my, you know, significant other,
Right.
you know, but that's if they were calling themselves being if it was a regular thing,
Right.
you know, because again, you have people that have agreements.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh, the world is wild. People out here wilding.
Understandings is
I mean,
listen.
shit, if you got this polyamory shit still weighing on my mind from the last podcast.
Listen, that's an entire
I don't know
fact.
about that.
That's an entire fact.
I don't know about that.
So, but
it almost kind of is the same thing, though. I mean, if you decide, okay, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get somebody else pregnant, then what if she's be like, well, okay, you know, that gullible type of female that is like, oh, I want you
They out
regardless,
there.
but
they out there.
and then he come back into the bank like, well, we need to talk about this because
you have a lot of women who will concede to just about anything because they thinking about how they can be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? He got a bag. You know, he's doing extremely well for himself. So shoot, let me get we see it in the news all the time.
He can still be dusty just because he got a bag and taking care of himself and got good credit. Your morals and values are fucked up. Period.
Right.
Shit.
But she's thinking in terms of, well, shoot, let me make sure I'm secure. Exactly. Let me just make sure that I'm good.
Right.
Not even thinking about everything else that comes with raising a child, you know?
Right.
And so
that happens a lot, especially with athletes.
Yes.
Oh my God. I couldn't even imagine what they go through.
Especially with athletes. How often do we see it in the news? Well, or on social media
I'm
now.
sorry, y'all. if the shoe don't fit, then don't try it on.
Listen,
If it don't work, don't try it on.
ain't no hit
No
dogs
pun
out there
intended.
hollering. Ain't no hit dogs out there hollering. You know, y'all picking up what we dropping. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know them. You know, y'all know them. So my whole thing is though, you know, how do you deal with that? So on the other side of it though, like we were talking about, you know, would you raise someone else's child? You know, when it comes to blended families, my very first serious relationship, you know, he had a child already. You know, he had a child already. It didn't bother me. And it was a little girl. Please. I ain't got the, you know, she's cute. It's I was young, so it was just like, um, you know, buying cute little girl clothes and, you know, combing hair and, you know, coordinated, doing all the things. I was just always very motherly, you know, anyway. So, but, you know, then you break up. Then you break up and you've grown an attachment to this child. But even taking a step back from that, you enter into a relationship with someone, they have a child or children already. What are the boundaries that you set? Like you said, that one particular meme said, you know, I ain't no stepdaddy, them your kids, you know. But what are the boundaries if they want to step up? You all are living in the same household, you know, you all are living in the same household. What are the boundaries? I know a huge one is if the child starts calling you mama or daddy, you know, or you dealing with discipline, you know, how far is, you know, too far, you know, if they start calling you mom, especially if you get with the person, you know, like I said, in this past relationship that I had, his daughter was only 2 at the time. 2 getting ready to turn 3. Now she never called me, you know, just straight out mom or mommy, but she was a mama Nikki every now and then. You know, so, you know, I don't know that she ever referred to me as that in front of her mother. But as a mother, if I heard that, especially if I don't have a relationship with her mother, because you have some mamas like, no, you know, I'm cool on that. Just make sure she treat my baby right, you know, but they got all these rules. Don't comb my baby hair. Don't do that, da, 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 you know. So what are the boundaries or what are the allowances, you know, when you're talking about blended families and bringing children in?
Well, personally, I just think that when there's so many, when you come into a situation and there's, like I said, a already made family. Typically, if that relationship, that previous relationship was over, I believe that the only thing that that parent is looking for is to make sure that that child is going to be taken care of. I mean, me personally, I want to know if she's fit to be around my child.
Right.
And if that person is, then okay, I'm willing to compromise and work with that woman
Right.
to make sure that what's going to be in the best interest for the child.
Right.
You know, not saying that, and then me, because I was in a situation, I would never try to replace the mother.
Right.
Unless the mother was not there.
Right.
And then yet still, I will still let that child understand that I'm here to help you. I want to make sure that, you know, you're going to be well taken care of and have the things that you need to, you know, move forward in your life. But there's some people out there that don't take those boundaries into consideration and overstep their boundaries, you know.
Right.
So but pertaining
It's a fine
to
line sometimes.
if a child was going to be ever in my household, you know, depend on the age range, because some you can't tell what to do. You get your 15, your 16,
You ain't my
17 year
mama.
old.
You
You
ain't
can't
my
tell me. They
daddy.
already got their mindset. You know, they don't need that nurture. They, and some of them do in some areas, but they're so damn fast and it is out here and have their own mindset to what they want to do because they've experienced so much and have gone through so much. the only thing that you can do is just try to be supportive.
Or they're bitter that their parents aren't
Or
together.
not together.
You know what? And I
Yes.
won't even say bitter because we
Yes,
still talking about
bitter. It is the correct word to use.
we're talking
Because there's some of them out here that
we're talking about
Yeah.
children who don't have fully developed minds. So
Oh,
they have
okay.
emotions, and they don't know how to express themselves. They don't understand the dynamics of relationship between husband and wife or man and woman, in the full scope. In the full scope of things. And I think that's why, because you have a lot of people that won't talk to their children, so they don't get it, they don't understand. So you bring, your children around this other woman, other man, now they blaming them for the breakup. Oh, you're the reason why.
Yeah.
Because they're just looking for a place to place their feelings,
Right.
and emotions.
Well, then that goes to where that parent that is already involved in the relationship needs to sit down and talk to that child.
Absolutely.
I still believe in family meetings.
Absolutely.
I
We
still
have them
believe
quarterly, like
in-
corporate. My
and-
children do not like it either. I'd be like, family meeting on Thursday.
Mhm.
I need everybody
that's
here.
very important.
Yeah.
To talk to your children about not necessarily what's going on in the relationship, but to allow that child to have a space to where they can voice how they feel too.
Right. Absolutely.
Because,
It's important.
a lot of them don't have a say.
It's
They
a
just
fact.
have to, just because you like it don't mean I do. And then that holds resentment towards the opposite person that is involved with that parent.
Exactly.
So then that's when they start playing sides.
Right.
Well,
Or
daddy said
either
this,
that parent.
or
So
daddy
they
said
taking out
that,
the
or
anger
mommy
on the
said
person they're involved
this.
with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're holding that resentment.
Mhm.
So, it will totally, the ball is in the parent's court. It was up to that parent to make sure that that child is aware of what's going on.
Right. Absolutely.
If, well, me and mommy can't be together no more.
Right.
And if after that talk, if that conversation hasn't been had,
Right.
there shouldn't be no more
Right.
unless that person is still involved with that parent.
Right.
And you
see that,
and you
too.
feel it because
On
that
the slide
child
through.
is still acting
They're
out.
confused.
They're still acting out
because they're confused. They can't understand why they got to come over here, but they daddy just came through.
Yeah,
Is
just
that
left my
daddy
mom's
car?
house. Yeah. Just
Wait, what's he doing
you
here?
told me that
On
mom
the pull-up.
and you and daddy wasn't together. Just
Right.
a lot of
Y'all
different
know
stuff.
we thought y'all
it
wasn't
causes
together.
conflict and confusion with the child. And then, like I said, the child starts to act out against the other person that is involved with the daddy or the mother,
Right.
So, a lot of that stuff, it's you're damaging your child.
So, and then
It's damaging to their emotions and their feelings because they're not able to place their emotions in a right manner to where they can see logically that this is what it's going to be.
Right.
And
this is the healthiest thing.
Right.
They don't care if their parents were arguing every day. They just see this other woman or this other man impeding on on what they consider, their family life, their normalcy.
Or you taking my daddy.
Or you taking my daddy.
You're taking my daddy.
You're taking my daddy. In the case of the woman, the kids, I don't need a
you
daddy.
ain't my daddy.
You ain't my daddy. Look, I don't need another daddy. Or just to see another man, especially if you got boys. I got 3 boys, y'all. For them to see another man touching you lovingly.
Just actually showing you a good time.
And you like, they like,
they don't like that. There's a jealousy. That jealousy sets in,
right? Or some
because boys are protective.
You have to have that communication.
Boys are protective of their mothers, so naturally. So
I think it's all communication.
Yeah,
you can communicate with children, so that the process becomes easier without telling them all your business.
That's correct.
Because one thing we see too, that kind of, blended families deal with is good ass daddy because she mad.
Yeah.
Because she mad about the things that went on. That's not that child's husband. That's not that child's significant other. That is that child's father, and that is the only relationship that they should be, worried about, that they should be concerned about, especially if they've been there as a father. But you have, some people's opinion is, well, you're not being a good father if you're not being good to their mother,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Or two, Father's Day is tomorrow.
Oh, when we're
Happy
recording
Father's
this,
Day, guys.
it's actually Juneteenth. Happy
Happy
Juneteenth as
Juneteenth.
well for those who
Yes.
celebrate.
Yes, 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 yes.
Even if you don't celebrate, I would hope that you would still acknowledge the significance.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so it's one of those things where you're blending these families. You can communicate with your children on their level
Mm-hmm.
without disrespecting the other parent. It has to be bigger than you.
Yeah.
You have to love the child more than you hate the other person.
Yeah.
If it's a case of hate.
Or exactly, because he could still be involved with that person.
Y'all might have just decided, you know what, we will operate better as friends.
Yeah.
If with this husband and wife stuff, we tried it, but we operate better as friends. Let's break this down to the kids. The kids not going to necessarily understand, but they're going to respond in the way. Again, episode 1, your delivery.
Yeah.
Y'all go watch episode 1. Go watch episode 1, and how your delivery
Mm-hmm.
to the children,
Yeah.
your delivery to their mother,
To anybody, yeah.
or to their father on how they found out, or the fact that, okay, because you have people who may have not been together for 5 years.
Yeah.
And they finally find someone and they decide they're going to introduce them to the children, but they don't even realize, because they're not communicating with their children openly and regularly, that they're holding out hope that they're going to be back
with their
together.
parents. Yeah,
Yes.
I've had that situation happen.
Yeah.
And I was introduced to a young lady, and she was very respectful, but I can tell that her energy was like
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like I just gave her space, because typically when a child feels like I really would want you to be back with my mom, they don't say that.
No.
They're not
They're
going to
just
say
hoping
that.
and wishing, or
Mhm.
if something goes, the sink is broken in the house. Well, call daddy.
Call dad. Yeah.
Can you call dad? Can come and fix it. He can fix anything.
Yeah.
Don't you like the way dad fixes anything? The way he's able to do things, or he's trying to cook or whatever and not doing, whatever. Well, call mom. She knows what to do. She knows how much, sugar goes in this, or, how much whatever to, go in this. And you don't even realize. But open communication, but on their level and respectfully.
But nowadays that doesn't happen, and there's a lot of women and there's a lot of men that don't have respect for their person, their ex, the person that they fathered, or
they
had a baby with this woman.
They mad,
and they're very hurt, still hurt, and don't know how to let go of that hurt. So they start, I can't stand you, but I still love you, and don't know how to talk
and
about
impressing it upon the
the
children. Like I said, y'all know good ass daddy.
Yes.
Or the kids hearing all the business. The kids see that their mother is hurt, or that their father is hurt, and so they start taking a side. And then
it happens.
Here comes the new person. How do you handle that?
And then the new person got to deal with the bullshit.
Right.
And then have to try to sit down and say, okay, let's work this out. How we gonna work this out? How we gonna get through this?
And they don't have any respect for you, though, because their parent hasn't shown any respect.
Well, I mean, typically, if I was in a situation like that, I would reach out one time. Right. I would give it one time.
Right.
And if I'm a person, I'm big on respect.
Right.
If I give you that one chance to really show me who you are,
Right.
and your first impression is everything, and I go off of
an
energy.
entire
Energy
fact.
is everything. So if your energy is off,
Hmm.
maybe we should try another day.
Hmm. That part.
Because I'm only gonna have one conversation.
That part.
One conversation. And if it goes well, it goes well. You know, we don't have to deal with you according to whatever age that child is.
Right.
Now, if it's a small child, then we're gonna have
That's
to communicate.
different. Right.
It's different.
Right.
But if your child is 13 and above, typically I got this.
Right.
Because I'm a mother.
Right.
I'm not trying to replace you.
Right.
But when your child is over at our house,
right,
he or she's going to be taken care of.
follow my rules. And I think that
I wouldn't even put it out there like that, because the man is already going to know what's
acceptable
what's
to me and what's not.
Of course.
And that's exactly what I was getting ready to say, y'all, is that it is the responsibility of the biological parents to make sure that the child understands, because I think that's a huge thing when you talk about stepchildren.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you hear a lot of people say bonus children, my bonus son, my bonus daughter, instead of saying step, because you know it can sound so ugly, or they just flat out refer to them as their son or daughter. But I think it's the responsibility of that biological parent, you know, to say, this is what is expected, you know, and not so militant. Again, your delivery, you know, your delivery. I think you can't, you know, on the first day they ever come to the house and they ever meet this person, sit them down and say, look, now I know how your mama do and what you do at your mama house, but over here, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. This is wick, that's whack. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it that way. You know, I think you just have to do things, and this just may be my approach, because I know some people do it that way. But I think my approach, just again, because of my nature, I think you have to have a conversation with the child and let them know you're interested in them out the gate. Whether they receive, you know, what you're sending to them or not, as far as positivity or, you know, really wanting to get to know them, you know, if you know that their favorite thing, if their dad has told you that their favorite thing is strawberry ice cream, well, probably the first day that they come to the house, you might want to have some strawberry ice cream. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if they 5 or 15. If that's your favorite ice cream, you're going to be like, bet. You know, so, you know, try to find some common ground so that you don't seem like the monster so much. You know what I mean? But again, I think it's the way that that biological parent presents you to that child on how well and how quickly you blend. I don't think you can always think that is going to be, you know, all roses, you know, for a little while. They don't know you. They have to build a trust with you. Your children came out trusting you because one of the first things you did was feed them at a scheduled time. You know, so I think you have to even think about that, go back to that. You have to be consistent with your behavior, your attitude, even though they may not be as receptive to you as you would like them to be out the gate. You got to have a scheduled time, that, you know, like a schedule or a consistency, not necessarily a schedule, a consistency on the way that you do things. So they like, oh, this ain't just a front. This is what she do.
This is right.
This is her. This is what she do. She really is loving. She really is giving. You know, she really does care about me. She not just dealing with me or he's not just dealing with me because of my parent.
Right.
You know, and so I think that's a huge thing. And I think to tell you the truth, I don't ever think that that's not the case, no matter the age of the child. Because just because you're 45, you still the child. You know, you still the child. Everybody doesn't get with somebody else in their early years. You have people that, for whatever reason, they were late in life getting married or, widowed. You know, you see it all the time. Someone passes, people been married 40 years. One of the two passes away. They supposed to stay by themselves. And then you have grown children that regress to, 7 years old. What are your thoughts on that? I feel like
I
feel
mean,
like my
typically,
drink
I
is getting
just
the best of
don't,
me,
I
y'all.
really, again, whatever's in the best interest for the child. I'm open to pretty much anything when
But
it
what
comes
if they're
to
grown?
when they're grown. Hell, they gonna make their own decisions. I'm not chasing no child down to be in a child's life.
Right.
I'm not. I'm built on respect. And if you can't respect the relationship that I have for your father, then it's the best interest that your father take care of you.
Right.
And I try to develop that relationship with you the best way that I know how.
Right.
But I'm not going to force nothing upon a child because I don't know what that child is going through with the other parent.
Right.
So I'm not going to be trying to run down and trying to do, because it's only putting more pressure,
Right.
to a child. And I've experienced that.
Right.
So when that person, if that child sees me around more often, then of course they're going to understand, well, my dad really likes her, my dad really
Right.
wants to be with her.
Right.
I'm not going to be chasing nobody down and say, hey, I want to be in your life. No,
Right.
because I've done my part. I've raised my own children.
Right.
So if he or she continues to see me involved and or around, they will eventually get it.
Right.
And if you decide that you don't want to build that relationship with me, that's fine too.
Right.
But if it's a younger baby, if it's a baby, then of course I'm going to step up.
Right.
I'm going to take the responsibility
How does
and
that
try
work?
to be more involved.
I just thought about this. So how does it work? So the father, you and the father are together. He has this child with this other person, but y'all stay together. He wants to be active in the child's life, and so he's trying to get the mother to allow the child, who's still a baby, arm baby is what we call him, still an arm baby, to come to the house. Like as a mother, what's your allowance there? If you're the mother with the little baby, do you send your 7-month-old baby over there for?
Well, being a mother, as you are too, you have to be able to trust the father. You have to be able to trust the father to know that he's going to make the right decision and that the father has someone around. He better not be messing with no knucklehead. I'm serious.
Little ugly, little dusty.
Little dusty. I'm serious, because if I know him and his character, he knows better because he
Right.
knows me and my character.
What if he doesn't? What if it was a one night stand?
Well, it's going to be a while before you see that child.
I'm not sending
It's
my
gonna be
baby
a
over there. I
while.
don't know y'all.
It's gonna be a while.
I don't know
before
you or
know the
her.
child.
How about that?
I'd have to meet that person.
I don't know you or her.
I'd have to meet that
What you
person.
say your name was again?
And not just one meet and greet.
Right.
I need to
That's
know
an entire
seriously.
fact. We need a together.
And even if I was the one,
if people could be that mature,
even if
though,
I was
people
the
in general?
one that had the one night stand and got pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to still meet that woman.
Right.
Because I was with your significant other
Right.
on a one night stand.
Right.
Hopefully this will never ever happen. Ever happen
Right.
to me. Excuse me, but I still want to be able to, first of all, I'm gonna apologize because I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people, they don't know.
Right.
I want to formally apologize to you, because I wouldn't ever want to go through that. I wouldn't want
Right.
anybody to experience that. It has to be a
Right.
hard thing to deal with. But, again, the child is innocent.
Right.
You can't compete with the baby. So now this baby is here.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, whether you want to deal with it or not, you can still be with your husband. You can still be with your boyfriend or whoever that. But I'm going to take care of my child if I have to take care of, because that's just what mothers do. It's nature. And then you got some fathers that do the same thing for the women that don't want to have time to be out here to take care of the child because they're in the streets.
Right. Right.
I've seen a man step up and take care of the child for
That's
whatever
an
reason.
entire fact.
You
I've
know,
seen men in
for
my
whatever
family raise
reason.
children
So
on their own. I
it
have good
doesn't
friends
make
who raise
it
children on
doesn't
their
make
own.
it a situation where you should be able to hold back because of your own selfish needs, because you got to take self out of it. It's
Right.
no longer about you when you
Right.
have a child.
Right.
It's about what's in the best interest of that
Right.
child. So you have to make a decision, or an irrational decision,
Right.
if you want to deal with that person, or if you want to
Right.
put up with them.
And I just thought of another topic that is really, oh my God, really heated, really heated back and forth all the time. So, a guy gets a chick pregnant, whether it's a one night stand or they just messing around or not. Like you said, you got some women that are in the street, some women that are in the street. She tells you, I'm pregnant, but I'm not having a baby.
It might be good for him.
Listen, but then he say, no, you're not aborting my baby.
Yeah, well, hey.
You're not aborting my baby. So that's a thought. That's something for y'all to ponder on.
Yeah.
We're going to bring that topic. We're going to bring that topic to the forefront.
To talk about, guys. Well, we appreciate each and every one of you tuning in.
Absolutely.
Please leave your comments below. Tell us what your thoughts are. We're going to be trying to go live here very, very soon.
As soon as they let us out. Look, go to our page and say free Nick and Vic.
They can't comment it, but you got to go to the Nick and Vic page.
Yes.
You can't go to Nick and Vic podcast. But please join us. Subscribe, hit that like button, let us know how you guys feel about the topic,
because most of y'all are maybe watching this on YouTube, but our Facebook page, Nick and Vic, NIK, and VIK, you'll see it pop up with our logo, same logo that's here on YouTube. Also, just leave a comment on our page, say free Nick and Vic. They ain't even do nothing. All they did was talk about it.
We was a little bit too real. I mean, and that's what we do. We talk about real life situations. We're not making up anything. Either we've experienced it or we know that somebody has gone to it. We try to talk about subjects that are reality,
right?
Because it makes a difference. Somebody needs to hear it,
Absolutely.
Whether you take it all in love or you like, I ain't got time for that. That's cool too.
That's okay.
That's all right. But at the same time, we feel like us coming together and being able to talk to help someone else out is very, very beneficial.
At least we hope so. At least we hope that you were at least entertained, or we got you to thinking about maybe a situation that you're going through. We are not professionals. Again, as Vic said, we just, we chopping it up. So we thought that we would share with y'all.
So with that being said, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing us. We appreciate it, and thanks to everyone. Right. Thanks to everyone who's been supporting us this far. Hey, it's June.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good week. We'll be back again soon.